Hello, everyone. Kathy Bacon here from What's Your Story? Thank you so much for joining me today. It's Friday, the weekend's coming, and aren't we all excited about that? I'm now in Bellevue, Washington. I always tell you where I am because I travel quite a bit. Even in the state, I'm around all over the place because I have family and I've been dog sitting and kids sitting and all kinds of things. So I just want you to know that I'm in Seattle, Washington right now, and I'm I'm good here. I was worried about it. I wanted to go somewhere else, just like when you travel to another place and you live in another country, it's so exciting. And so many things happen that are unexpected. So, you know, I want a life like that. But right now, I'm in Seattle and it's kind of a cloudy day. We've had a fabulous summer. I can't even begin to tell you what it was like to live in Seattle in the summer. It was really fantastic. So I'm very, very grateful for that. I really want to thank you for supporting Pay It Forward Radio. I'm doing questions on Pay It Forward Radio right now, so please head over there and answer some thought-provoking questions if you may, and know that What's Your Story Radio is a place that you can give your opinion. You can say whatever you want to say with no judgment. That's what the stories on Pay It For or on What's Your Story Radio are about. They are everyone's unique story of how they got where they're at or how they didn't get where they wanted to be right away, and what that journey was like. There's no judgment here. Everyone has their own unique story. And I'm telling you, I love stories, and that's why I'm here, because I want to share your stories with the world, with Facebook, with every place that it's going to go, which is my YouTube channel, What's Your Story Radio YouTube channel. I have a Facebook page, I have a Facebook page that is What's Your Kathy Bacon, What's Your Story Radio. And I also have a website, and I'm telling you that website is very comprehensive about my videos. I post them there for all my interviews. I post information about people there. I post how you can get a hold of people that I've talked to and interviewed, which is really a wonderful thing because everyone that I've interviewed, they want you to contact them. They want you to connect. That's what this is about, human connection. My my website is www.kathybacon.com. Go there and check it out, and you will see what I'm talking about. Today, I have a guest on, and we met a few years ago doing a Maston Kip project. And I've known her for a while, but we've never met in person. And I follow her on Facebook. And I love her website. And I'm just so excited that I get to have her on today to tell her story because it's an interesting one. It's one that's unique to her. And her name is Dani Turcotte. And Dani is an intuitive, get this, because we all need this, believe me. She's an intuitive money mindset coach, founder and owner of DaniTurcotte.com. Let me spell that for you. It's DaniTurcotte.com. Believe me, go there and check out her website. It is a gas. She has so much humor and love behind it. I just want you all to go there. She's the creator of the Magic Money Mastermind. She helps soulful entrepreneurs all over the world tap into their inner magic, plus transform their lives by helping them heal their money beliefs and create new paradigms for massive success, wealth, and confidence. And so I really want you all to meet Dani Turcotte. Thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're such a radiant being.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow.
And likewise.
So happy to have you here, Dani. I wanted to meet you for a long time, and I feel like I know you, and you're really bringing to life something that we all kind of suffer with, and that is our beliefs about money. And boy, do I have them too. So,
Everybody does.
I mean, I think, for me, money, I think, oh, who needs money? What? Are you kidding me right now? So,
Yep.
tell us about your path to becoming an intuitive money mindset coach.
So for me, it was a lot of unraveling before I got to this point. And what I mean by that is my own mindset with money. Just like you said, not everybody um, may think of money the same way, right?
Right.
But we all need it. We all
Yes.
need it in some form, right?
Right.
And so for me to get to this point, it required a lot of deep, deep work with my mindset. And I feel like the first year of my business, I was just getting my feet wet. I didn't have a solid plan. I was like, what's a business plan? I don't know. I don't know what that
Right.
is. So it was just like trial and error. And I had just lost my corporate job when I first started my business years ago. I had no
Your
savings
sound,
or anything.
there
Oh,
you are. You came back. I was wanting to say your
okay,
sound
good.
is fading away, but I hear you now.
You can hear me now? Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay. So yeah, I had like no savings or anything. I didn't have a business plan. I didn't have even a solid business idea. I was just like, I know I'm meant for something greater. I don't know what that is yet, but I'm gonna figure it out. So I could feel the shifting, and I knew like something. I knew something. I was being led to something. I just didn't know what that was yet. So I started where I was. I just started. And I stepped into that that deep knowing that, okay, I don't know what's going to happen, universe, I don't know, but I'm going to trust this and just go with it.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, and eventually along that journey I realized that the number one result that clients got from working with me, aside from more clients and wealth and all that, was getting in touch with their intuition. So that is essentially what made me hone in on this path in my business as an intuitive money mindset coach.
Yeah. And it's funny too. I like what you said because so many of us get so scared at this point when we have an idea and we know intuitively that we need to be doing it for our business because we're passionate about it. We know the steps that we had to take to get there. And then all of a sudden, we stop because we're afraid. We're
Yeah.
afraid that we can't do it. But what
Yep.
you said was, I just knew and I just pushed forward. And I think so many of us get stopped kind of there. We go, can't do it, not gonna do it. And that's
It's the
where we
fear.
have to push the most, right? When we hear that, we go,
Exactly.
okay, man, let's go forward now, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. And that's
Yeah.
that's essentially what it was. It wasn't. I don't want to give people the wrong idea and say I was fearless, and I was like, well, I was scared. I was scared.
Yes.
I didn't
Yes.
have a clue. I don't believe in fearlessness. I think that's a myth because we're
Right.
human, right? And I
Yes.
like to say, this is like one of my favorite little quotes. We can't be fearless, but we can fear less.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
I just had to let go, and I was like, okay, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know, but I'm just gonna go with it. So
Yeah. And
that's
so
what
many of
I
us
did.
need to hear that, Dani. I mean, so many of
Yeah.
us need to hear that, you know, well, she had an idea, she pushed forward, look where she's at now. So maybe I can do it. And 9 times out of 10, it's really just taking that first step, isn't it? And once you
Yep.
do that, then the universe kind of jumps in with you.
Yes. Absolutely. And it doesn't always look like the way you think it's gonna look.
Yeah, exactly.
There will be twists and turns along the way, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you're doing such a great job by taking
Thank
that
you.
step and everything that you're doing. Again, I want you all to check out Dani's website. Dani, DaniTurcotte.com. Please check her website out. I was just laughing hysterically, thinking, oh my gosh, this girl has a great sense of humor and she's not trying to sell me anything. She's just trying to tell me what's going on and how this can all happen for me. I'm just encouraging did just have a look at her website with my hand. So tell us, how big of a role does intuition play in your life?
Well, it pretty much rules everything and guides everything. And I have to say, it wasn't always like that at all. A lot of people are surprised when I say that because I'm intuitive, psychic, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And they assume usually that this has been like, and it has been there my entire life, but that doesn't mean I've used it my entire life.
Right.
I remember being very young, like probably 5. I don't know, something around that age. And I remember trying to tell my mother about wanting to go home, and I was pointing to the sky. And it was like freaking her out, obviously. And she was like, "What are you talking about?" Because I've always had a very strong connection with angels. So, and I've always seen angels, and I didn't know that nobody else could see those, that I knew.
Right.
So I like turned it off. I turned it off. I turned off my intuition. And anytime I had that voice pop in, throughout my life, I was like, I don't know what that is. Go away, because it's bad. And a lot of things have happened in my life, very painful lessons about turning off your intuition. And the universe has a great sense of humor. A lot of it wasn't funny, but it did. It did teach me that, hey, if you keep, ignoring this is what's going to keep happening. So I had to return to this place of turning it back on, essentially, and kind of letting go of how I was raised. I was raised in an environment that didn't nurture that part of myself.
Right.
And it was a very toxic environment. So I always felt like I didn't have a voice. Yeah. But through many learning experiences, I learned to turn it back on, and now it's just stronger than ever. And it never ceases to amaze me. Never.
That's so awesome. So many people, like you said, so many people become afraid of it and they turn it off and then they don't turn it back on. When in fact, we should have it on at all times.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean,
absolutely.
Because I'm sure, I think we all have it. Some of us are afraid of it, or some of it, we all been given the same gifts. It's just how we use them, right?
Absolutely. Everybody. And that's like something, I'm glad that you brought that up, because everybody is intuitive. And a lot of men too, I found, seem to think that intuition is only a woman's thing.
Yeah. No.
It's not. Hello.
You're here to tell us it's a men's thing too. Yes.
Right.
I love it. So you are an entrepreneur, and what's your favorite thing about entrepreneurship?
Oh my gosh. I'd say the freedom to self-govern my life and call the shots.
Yeah.
That's like the number one thing. I love pretty much every aspect of it. I enjoy the challenges, the friendships I've made, my clients, and the success I've enjoyed. But the ultimate high is the freedom. Right. I like to be the one that gets to decide how I want to live my life.
Right.
And that's the bottom line for me. It's above money. It's above all that. It's the freedom.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you 100%. And I think when the economy had that downturn in 2008, 2009, it brought so many entrepreneurs to the surface. Yeah. And it's really cool to see that now, all the creative people that are entrepreneurs and sharing how they did it, Absolutely. How other people can do it. Because in our mindset, and even in mine, you're supposed to go to work and work there 30 years. There's no entrepreneurship. You go to work for
Yep.
corporate America, and that's where you stay, and that's where you retire.
Yep.
Not
That's
that
how I
way.
was raised too.
Yeah, not that
Nope.
way.
I'm the odd one in my family. I've like I'm an intuitive,
Me too.
and
Yeah.
I'm like doing my own business. They're like, we don't know what's going on with her, but but they see, they see that I stayed with, that I'm dedicated to this, and
Yeah, yeah, you
so it is
absolutely
what
are.
it is.
And as an entrepreneur, like you said, you have your own hours, you get to choose all of that. But sometimes we work harder at that because we know we have to. We're
Oh my
it,
gosh.
right?
Oh my gosh, yes. And I think that's a big misconception with entrepreneurship, and I'm sure you agree
Yeah.
that, and it doesn't help with all the glossy stuff that we see on social media, right? Of
Oh,
people, posting these pictures of laying by the poolside and, vacations. That's all great. That is all great, but please do not sell me that idea of entrepreneurship. It is so much more than that. It requires work. It
right,
requires showing up. It
right,
requires, being flexible with your schedule for your clients that live in Ireland.
right,
It's like
right.
it's like
Exactly.
you have to show up, you have to do the work.
Yeah,
There's so much
exactly.
more to it than fancy cars and
Yeah,
vacations. It's in here,
yeah, it
you
totally
know.
is. It totally is.
Yeah.
And one thing that's really cool for me as an entrepreneur is that everything I do is online. So I can take that vacation or I can go sit by an ocean or I can go do those things and still be able to work, which I never
Absolutely.
even thought was possible. And
Right.
so, but again, I'm working. I remember being in Thailand and having, this a great apartment where you'd look out and there would be the mountains and the big temple and you'd be working, you'd be going, where am I?
Right. Right.
Wow. No one told me
Right.
I was going to do this too.
Yep.
So having your business online, which is such a new concept for so many young people as well, has really taken off. It's so great.
It has. And I
Yeah.
love it. I love seeing other people like making money doing makeup tutorials on YouTube. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's cool. Like I love entrepreneurs. I love celebrating because we are the hardest working people on the planet.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
what I mean? We really are. It
Yes.
requires so much dedication and passion to keep going and to take a step outside of the safety net of a regular job, right? And be like,
Yeah.
I don't want that. I want this.
No, I don't want it either, and I'm so glad I'm not there. And I think about being in Seattle, thinking, okay, should I go get a job at Amazon? And then I go, what are you talking about? Stop it. You're fine. Don't.
Yep. Right.
No,
Right.
because the
It
things,
tempts a lot of people.
yeah, the things I see that and that's one thing that happens too is that I've let go of the things. I have two
Yeah.
suitcases to my name, Dani.
Yep.
Um, and when you let go of things and you see people that are still wrapped up in things, you know that they're wrapped up in things because they're wrapped up in that job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
so was there ever a point in your business that where you felt like absolutely quitting? You came close to quitting?
No,
You're
not at
so
all.
everything. I love
um,
you.
Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. I I don't even know how many times, okay? I can't even count
Yeah.
how many times throughout my business that I've said to the universe. I have like cursed the universe. I've been like, you know what? I I give a lot to people, I give a lot of my energy. I give love to people, like everybody I encounter.
Right.
What am I missing? What am I missing? And there have been so many times where I've been like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm sorry, but you gave the gifts to the wrong person.
Yeah.
Because they're just not,
Right.
what's the point of having them, and
Right.
you
I'm
want
not
me
going
to
to use
serve. And yeah, I've had so many messages and dreams about using my gifts to serve, people.
The greater
And
good.
I'm just, yes. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to make sure that I'm taken care of too. So it was just like so many conversations and so many um, times where I absolutely, okay, I had doubts and fears just like everybody else.
Right.
Being an
Right.
entrepreneur is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. And I get really annoyed with people who say otherwise. Like, yeah, there's some ease to it, right? There's some
Yeah.
things that you create with this path that to outsiders look like, oh, it must be nice. Well, yeah, it is nice because I worked hard to get
Hard to
here.
get there.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
put in the work to enjoy this, but it took work. It took
Lots of
work.
them.
So it
Yep.
takes work and persistence and dedication to keep
That's
going.
right.
And being a quitter is not in my nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just not.
Same.
So I kept going because I felt like I'd pay a higher price
Right.
for quitting my job,
Yeah.
or I'm sorry, quitting my business, right?
Right. Right.
And and then taking the easy way out and going back into the corporate world. I just felt like this was going to be a bigger price in the end, and I wasn't okay with that. Like there's so much that I can get from this that I can't get from a job.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So
You're absolutely right. I mean, again, we we are raised with these certain ideas and principles that maybe our parents experienced, and we listened for a while. I mean, I listened for a while and I'm thinking, I can't stay here for 30 years. You freaking kidding me?
right,
You know, there's no
yeah,
way. And
hmm
so just to be able to, look at, and it's like any job, it's the good with the bad. And the cool thing is that you get to figure out how to make it better. No one's making it better and you're working for them, you're the one.
absolutely,
You're the one.
yes,
And it's all on
yep,
you. And there's a beautiful thing about that because I think for me, every time I thought I was going to quit, I'd think, but then I'll never know if I could do it or not.
right, right, and
And
that's
there's,
exactly what, yep,
right? I mean, there's confidence in that. There's self-esteem in that we get from
yes,
doing something that we thought we couldn't do. Or someone
yes.
else said, you can't do that. Or this said, you can't do that.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, what's the biggest outcome for clients that you work with, Dani? This is a really important thing.
Yeah. So the biggest and most direct answer, to that question would be healthier money mindsets and habits
Right.
that translate into more fulfillment from their businesses and of course more money.
Right.
and
Right.
and it's really funny because I'm a money mindset coach, but part of that is doing work on your beliefs about yourself because your thoughts about money and yourself are extremely like parallel. Okay, they're directly connected.
Right.
So people end up feeling like super confident. They're more in touch with their intuition. I mean, it's
Right.
just amazing. I love watching that transformation.
Yeah. Because I think we're not really quite taught about money, and we should be at school. We should
I
be,
know.
right? I mean,
I'm
because
working on something like that.
good, you should. You should have a
Yeah.
program that people can
Yeah.
implement, especially in high school when kids are getting ready to go to college and then, mom and dad are
Yes.
paying for everything. And then their
Yes.
whole mindset of, oh, well, I'll be taken care of, I'm
It's so
entitled,
important.
right?
It's so important, especially like you said, like kids, teenagers. I think home economics isn't even taught nowadays
I
in most
know.
high schools. And and I remember when I was in high school, and I won't say how long ago that was, but um, that was like money was like just a little fraction of what we were learning in home ec.
Right,
It was just like, oh, here's how to balance a checkbook.
right.
Nothing about money mindset, nothing about, hey, if you don't want to go to college and be thousands of dollars in debt and go into the corporate world, you don't have to. There's other options for you.
Right.
Um, you have to transform your beliefs about what you're capable of, what you think you're worth, what you think you deserve. There's
Right.
so much more than um, just, okay, this is what I'm going to do, after school.
Right.
I'm going to go to college and figure it out.
Hmm.
So yeah, I am working on something like that. So it
Good.
is
I can see it
exciting because
being
it's
a
so
really nice,
necessary.
it is necessary. I remember I had home economics, and I'm not going to tell you how long it's been since I've been in high school, but I had home ec, right? And then we
Mhm.
also had a class, and I think it was part of home ec, where we learned how to balance our checkbook and how what a checkbook actually was, because in those days it was checks. There were no cards or anything.
Yeah,
And it was
right.
really, really, it was very helpful, it was very helpful during that time because, I ended up on my own quite early and balancing a checkbook was a big deal, you know?
Yeah,
So,
I remember.
yeah,
I think we just aged ourselves, but that's okay.
that's all right.
We don't
Darn
care.
it, we look good and we feel good. That's all that matters.
Right.
So, tell me how your business has evolved over the years because you started here, but now you're way over here.
Yeah, it's like so different. And I've been in business for a while, but it hasn't really been that long.
Right.
So it's crazy to me to sit here when I stop for a moment and think about where I was and now where I am. It's mind blowing. I started to build an online presence
Hmm.
by offering low cost intuitive readings. That's how I
Okay.
started my business.
Okay.
That is how I let people know, like, hey, this is who I am, and
Right.
this
Right.
is what I do, I guess.
Right.
And it was so funny because I didn't have a clue. Like, I was learning everything on my own. I was bootstrapping like crazy because I didn't have any money to invest in my business at the time.
Right.
Um, but I was just starting where I was.
Right.
I was just starting where I was.
Right.
So I was charging such low fees that I had to work with such a high number of clients when I first started. So I was just energetically and mentally exhausted very quickly. I burned out really fast.
Yeah.
Even though I enjoyed it, it was like uh, I I knew I couldn't sustain that. I didn't have
Right.
a business plan or a sustainable business model, so
Right.
I just burned out really quickly. So I've regrouped a lot in my business. I've never been afraid of switching gears.
Yeah.
If something isn't working and I know it's not, and I feel it doesn't feel good, if it's energetically just exhausting and it doesn't feel right, I am not afraid to look at it and say, okay, this needs to
Yeah.
change.
Exactly.
So I've done a lot of that. And I know that there's a lot of business experts that advise against that. And I always go back to telling my clients, don't listen to rules, right?
Right.
Um, business rule. I've broken all the business rules. Okay, that's just how I've done it. I've had to. Um, I I've built a very successful business by not listening to all that crap and just trusting my intuition.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to switch gears if you need to, because I did a lot of that,
Right.
and that's why I am where I am now, because I found a business model that makes sense for me, that it works for my energy levels, and it helps people work with me at multiple price points. You know, there's just been so much happening. It's crazy.
Right. Right.
But it's
Which is
great. It's
great.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great because what you've done is you made it work for you and you made it work for your clients. And I don't know what a better
Yes.
business model that, I mean, I don't know what could be better, right? I mean,
Right.
um,
You have
again,
to.
going back to your own business, having the ability to change it up in any way you can. I've done it myself. You just have to do
Yeah.
it sometimes. I mean, you have to go with the times and see what people are needing and what they're wanting, and
Absolutely.
how you can actually fit into that, I think. I mean,
Yes.
and you have. I mean, you've done a great job of fitting into that. I
Thank
mean,
you.
like I remember when I first knew you, you did offer intuitive readings and things like that, which people, I mean, I'm like all about that. Like if someone can,
Yeah.
hey, come on, let's go do this.
Yep.
But then to be able to take it to a whole nother level that has to do with money. And right now, money's a big deal to people.
Yeah.
Used to have
Yep.
it, did have it, I have it. I don't know what to do with it. I don't trust banks. I don't do that. I mean, there's so many things about money
Oh
now
my
that
gosh.
we have to deal with, right?
Yes. Absolutely. And that's
So,
what it is. It's like, it's not, what I really like is because there's a lot of um, people who will try to sell you, this idea about building a 6-figure, 7-figure business. I'm not about that.
yeah,
I'm not about that because everybody's idea of success looks very different, right? Not
right,
everybody wants a Lamborghini or a private jet.
right,
And that's fine. It has nothing to do with the
right.
amount of money. That's very
Yes,
important. It's up here.
yes.
It really is. And that's why I love the mindset piece of it.
Right, right. And it's that saying too about do what you love and the money comes. And I think that's really true.
Yeah, it is. And there's obviously multiple layers to that, but
Right,
it
of
absolutely
course.
is. If you're not enjoying what you're doing,
Right,
it's not going to be sustainable. You might enjoy some success for a while, but it won't be long term.
right, right. And so do you have more energy now with
Oh
the
my
business
gosh.
the way it is now?
Yes.
Yeah,
I found my groove.
yeah,
And because of all that tweaking I did and regrouping and giving myself that space that I
right,
needed and freedom, right? To be like,
right,
okay, this isn't working, so I have to find something different. And I
right.
definitely have found my groove. I don't just do coaching. I have like, evergreen stuff that doesn't require my energy so much. So
Nice.
I'm able to serve a lot of people in different ways, and I love
That's so fantastic. It's so fantastic. I
that.
mean, and it's such a great subject because boy, oh boy, like I said, we all have our feelings about money depending on our journey through life and,
Yeah.
and our beginnings to where we're at today. I mean, it's a big one that I need to work on myself. I mean, it really is. It's
There's
just,
always room for improvement.
yes, there is, isn't there? You're absolutely right. So, how has life changed since you started your business?
Oh my gosh, it's been amazing. It's been challenging, amazing, scary, magical, wonderful, crazy. um,
Right.
Life never ceases to amaze me. I, I've been psychic my whole life, but professionally and using it in my business, it's only been 4 years.
Wow.
But even that, like the the things that happen on a daily basis just never seem to um cease to amaze me. It's incredible. It's like, did that really just happen?
Right.
I remember when I first started my business several years ago, I was divorced
Hmm.
from my first marriage. I was being evicted from my apartment.
Oh,
I had just lost my corporate job, yeah,
wow.
and I was not doing well financially at all. And now I'm married to my soulmate. I have a thriving business that I love. I live in a beautiful home. I mean, it's just been a whirlwind because I took the leap of faith and I kept going.
Right, right. And that's something we all need to remember because it
Yeah.
is attainable. It's all attainable if we again just trust in the universe at times because seriously, I mean, I all of our lives have been up and down and when you start really paying attention like you said and you start seeing the gifts around you, you're like, "Whoa, how did that happen?" It's
Yeah,
so amazing, right?
it is. It
So
is.
amazing and so happy for you. I mean,
Thank you.
so happy for you
Thank you.
because we've known each other for a while, but not on this
I
playing field.
know.
You know, we all were kind of looking for something within ourselves, and with that help, we found a piece of it. But again, I found out, hey, if you want it, you got to do the work. Just like you said, you got to do the work. It's not going to be handed on a silver
Absolutely.
platter for you. Here you go. Here's your beautiful business.
Oh,
Go ahead. Everything's.
right.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Right. Yeah, maybe.
But you're in
Maybe.
charge. You are in
Yes,
charge. And that's,
absolutely.
a beautiful thing to be in charge of your own destiny and your own life and your own business. I mean, I don't know anything better than that. So,
I agree.
yeah. So, did you wait to start transforming your mindset about money and success until you became successful, or was it like a process that you found your way to it?
I definitely did not wait,
Okay.
at all. I remember implementing the spiritual work required for
Right.
this journey.
Right.
Um, while I was living on government assistance,
Yeah. Yep.
and
In there.
I was, yep, and I was facing eviction from my apartment.
Hmm.
I had just lost my job. Things were bad.
Yeah.
I was in a really tough situation. I was keeping myself and my dog alive on rice and cereal.
Yeah.
Um, it was really scary. But I remember during that entire time that I was living with the sense of peace and gratitude.
Right.
It was the strangest thing because
Yeah.
I should have been scared, right? I should have been just paralyzed by fear. And I'm not saying I was fearless because I wasn't. I was definitely scared, but I wasn't paralyzed by it.
Right.
Um, I was in, a really tough situation, but I had homeless people, roaming the streets right in my neighborhood, like right outside my apartment. So I knew that I was still blessed, even though things were tough. I was like, I am still in this warm, safe apartment for now,
Yeah.
and I still have things to be grateful for. So I started switching um, that money story in my brain while things were really tough, and that is what led me to this path because I still believed that something greater was available and I could get there.
Right. Right.
So it was
Right.
definitely a gradual process, but I didn't wait. I laid the groundwork.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And you mentioned gratitude, and really gratitude is something you fake it till you make it. And you say thank you every damn day, even if you don't feel like it,
Mhm.
because it projects you to a place of thinking differently, right? I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
just to be grateful that you still had a place to live, you still had your dog, and you still had,
Yep.
even if it was rice and cereal, you still had it.
Exactly. Yep.
I mean,
Exactly.
so, and I love hearing this story, and I hope that people out there really listen to this because, it's, it's really, it's really good to go back to hear and to see and to think about where you were, because
Yeah.
now you so appreciate where you are now,
Absolutely.
you know? I mean,
Absolutely.
and we all have those times. I always question that. I always think, why do I have to go through this crap to get to the good stuff? Why, you know?
I know. Well, that's because the universe has a sense of humor.
Exactly. And that's where you got your sense of humor. I'm telling you, you're
It
just fantastic.
absolutely is.
It's
Thank
just
you.
fantastic. Oh, and again, I want to tell you all to have a look at Dani's website. It's DaniTurcotte.com. She has a great sense of humor, and she lays out what she can do to help you. And it's not a sales pitch. I'm telling you, it's not a sales pitch. It's just it's just about what she can do to help and help you with your mindset about money, because it's a very important topic right now in the world. Money is a very important topic, and how we feel about money is even more important. So
Yes.
please have a look at her website. I really encourage you to do that. Um, in your experience, how important is someone's mindset? And we've been talking about this in regards to their success.
Oh my gosh. So it's the most important thing.
Yeah.
So you can have all the formulas, that teach you about building a six-figure business in 5 hours, right?
Right.
Um, you can have all the strategies and the fancy websites and the best coaches in the world. But if your mindset is programmed
Right.
for lack and struggle and thinking about money from a place of fear, then you're not, and if you're not willing to change that,
Right.
then your ability to succeed is going to be very limited.
Right. Right.
It's only going, everybody has a set point, but your
Mm-hmm.
set point, if your mindset is there, programmed for lack and focusing
Right.
on not having enough,
Mm.
your set point is going to be much lower than somebody else who's done the mindset work
Right.
to
Right.
improve that, right?
Right. Right.
Um, we humans tend to get in our own way a lot, right?
We do. We
and
do.
the willingness to make your mindset strong has to be top priority. It has to be.
Right.
Nobody's going to be holding your hand, right?
Right.
Nobody's going to be there at the end of the day holding your hand and talking you through this. You have to do that for yourself. You have to keep going despite how horrible things may seem.
Right.
They can improve. You just have to believe it. I mean, I know that sounds cliche, and I don't want to gloss over anybody's experience, right? Because we all have pain. We all have really
Yeah.
difficult things we're struggling with, right? And I've been there.
Right.
But I promise you, it's not going to happen overnight, but it can happen.
Right. 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 And how do you get yourself out of that slump, out of that bad day thinking, you know what? How do you get that? Sometimes our mindset, we wake up and we're pissed off and, it's not going to be a good day. I don't care what you say. Not going to be a good
Yeah.
day. How do you
So,
do it? How do you make yourself say, you know what? It's going to be a good day. I'm going to be productive today. Life is going to be good today. I mean, that's a hard one. How do you do that
yeah,
for yourself?
most of the time, I let myself have those days. I don't try to sweep it under the rug. And I think that's really important because
Yeah.
even though I'm a very positive person,
Right.
we live in this entrepreneurs are in this bubble, right?
Right.
Especially spiritual entrepreneurs,
Right.
where we create this bubble where we do not let anything bad enter into this safe bubble. And if it looks negative, we're going to destroy it, right? With rainbows and unicorns. And what happens is we mean well, but we're not facing the stuff that we actually need to work through. If you try to attack these negative thoughts with
Right.
just, oh my God, happy thoughts, it might help shift your mood, but it's not going to help you process what you need to process in order to create new paradigms.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
And I think, yeah, please go ahead.
oh, no, I was just going to say when that happens, like if I have those days, and of course I have those days, I'm human.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I don't feel like doing anything today. Or everybody sucks today. I have those days, okay, I do.
Can't
I'm
imagine.
just like, yeah, no, I promise I do. I'm just like, I don't know, whatever. I'm a Cancer, okay, so. But I let myself have that, that time to be like,
Right.
today sucks. And I don't know why. And I'm going to spend some time thinking about it. Maybe there's some energy stuff going on,
Right.
There's a lot of cosmic shifting, that I'm very sensitive to all that stuff. So who knows, right? I'm just like, oh, whatever. I'm just having a bad day and I'm going to deal with it. And then tomorrow's going to be a better day. And it usually is.
Well, and you're right about, just letting yourself feel the feelings, because if we don't, they creep back up later,
Yeah.
And so it's so true, this, tie up your bootstraps and get going is bull crap. I'm sorry. Some days you don't feel like that. Some days it is just, I'm going to sit back and I'm just going to be upset and I'm going to let this process. And then the next, then
Yes,
what happens tomorrow? Because so many, we're told
absolutely.
not to ever do that. Don't do
I
that.
know. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, a negative thought. No, go away. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, you have to let yourself feel that and process and so you
Exactly.
can get rid of it.
Right. Right. Because I was just having this conversation yesterday with someone that I love dearly. It's like, you're where you were 3 times ago and you still haven't dealt with it. So you might want to think about dealing with it now because we'll just keep getting it handed to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the universe having a sense of humor. All right, Dani.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. It's like this thing, and what happens too is when we continue to ignore a pattern
Yeah.
or those feelings, the universe keeps bringing it back in some form. It's
Yeah.
like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, remember that thing that you didn't want to deal with like 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Well, here it is again. It's just 10 times worse.
Yes. And it's so true. It's so
I
true.
know.
I know. Hey, I'm with you, sister. And don't you worry.
It's nuts. So yeah, please deal with the stuff when it comes up. Just let yourself have that time to be like, you know what? Oh my God, like screw you, universe. I am so mad today,
Right.
and deal with it.
Right. And sometimes people also get caught up in seeing what she's doing. Well, look at
Oh my
her
gosh.
business over there. Like she's
Yeah.
been doing her business less than I have, and she's already here.
Yeah.
Stop that insanity.
Yep.
Really. Right?
Yep.
I mean, that can make you
Absolutely.
crazy. Turn off the TV, turn off the computer sometimes, and just be with you because what you're doing is unique to what everyone else in the world is doing.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. You know, or what somebody else looks like. What looks and
That's
station
right.
in life have nothing to do with you as a person.
Nope. Nope.
Um, and we could like spend a whole day talking about comparing yourself to other people and letting that
Right.
like stop you, but
Yeah.
forget all that.
Right.
Stay focused on you.
Stay focused on you, right? And stay focused on how you feel and what you're doing in the world and always have gratitude. I mean, always have
Yes.
gratitude. I mean, that's a big
Yep.
one in my book. I
Yeah,
mean,
it is.
it's a big, big thing for success within,
It
right?
is. It really
So,
is.
and so what advice do you have for people who are struggling with their mindset and money and success? What advice can you give us moving forward, Dani?
Well, I piggybacking on what we just said, I would say forget adding pressure to yourself, trying to keep up with what so and so is doing in their
Right.
business. That's not going to serve you or your clients, or if you have a product, your customers. That's
Right.
not going to work for you.
Right. Right.
When I first started my business, I was terrified and I definitely didn't feel good enough and I didn't feel like I was very powerful in my gifts, but it turns out that I was. And I'm not saying that from an egotistical place.
No,
It,
right.
it really resonated with people. And so I was like, wow, I really do have these gifts
Right.
and I'm not going to worry about what somebody else is doing. And I made a commitment when I started my business. I'm not going to get caught up in these rules and these oh, if you want to have a successful business, you need to spend like $6,000 on your website. I built my website for
Me too.
free.
Me too.
When I first started out, mine was free and it was crappy, and I still use it. And I don't care if like people are like hating on it. I don't care.
Right.
Um, I built it from scratch. Okay, and
Right.
I'm a super technophobe.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
I am not techie at all. Um, just do what you want. Don't focus on what everybody else is doing. Make your own rules. Forget about all that and start where you are.
Yeah.
When I started my business, I couldn't afford a cell phone, okay, to have
Yep.
sessions over the phone with clients. So I had to use Google Voice
Yeah. Yeah.
and do
Yeah.
it on my computer.
Right.
Um, I
Yeah.
would go to the library, to use the internet.
Right. Right.
So
Exactly.
make your own rules, trust your own intuition, forget everything else.
And, the world the way it is today, the things that are in place make it so easy for us to do that. We don't have to have everything at once. Like you said, you use
Yes.
Google Voice, or, if you want to see your client, you can use Skype. There's so many other things now. As far as the website goes too, Dani, I made my own website too. It was free at the beginning, and now I pay a little bit for it, but I have
Me
total
too.
control over it. I know how to do it. I don't have to have anyone
Yeah.
do my website for me anymore.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely. And
it's
that's what I'm saying. It's like make your
yeah,
own rules, don't worry about all the stuff that they say you need to have a successful business. It's bull crap.
it is.
It just is.
It is. Oh, it's true. It's absolutely true, and I'm in agreement with you. But there definitely was a time that I doubted all that. I thought I
Oh
had to
yeah,
have
for sure.
all of this, and I looked at her over there, and I went, "Geez, look at the kind of videos she's doing. Why? How did mine aren't that good?" And it
Yeah.
can make you absolutely crazy when in fact you have something to give, and you're wasting time not giving it by worrying about all this other crap.
Mm, yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Gosh.
Absolutely. Yes.
God. It has just been so awesome to have you
Yes.
on the show today. I mean, I absolutely adore you. And
Oh,
I've
thank you.
adored you from afar for a very long time.
Thank you.
And I love what you're doing. I love your energy. I love your sense of humor. And, and some of us wouldn't even be laughing if we lived in, if we had some of the beginnings that you did or that I did or that many people have. Some people don't have to suffer through that like some of
Yeah.
us have to. So it's just really, I'm very appreciative of you telling your story and, not sugarcoating it whatsoever.
Nope. That's not my style.
Yeah, I know. Because it's so inspiring when
Thank
people
you.
get real and they actually
Yes.
tell you what the hell's going on and how it worked and how it didn't work. So, that's the beauty of connecting with other human beings, is that we all are one. We have the ability to share in other people's stories and make changes in our lives and be inspired. And you've done that for me today. And I'm sure you've done it for the
Thank
audience,
you
and you
so
will
much.
continue to do that. You will continue to do that. So tell us before we go how people can get a hold of you.
So the best way to get a hold of me, you can find me on social media. Everything is under Dani Turcotte,
Okay.
Facebook, Twitter,
Yeah.
Instagram.
Good.
You can
Okay.
email me at Dani@DaniTurcotte.com.
Okay.
And even if it's just to say hi, I welcome that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Good. And I have your information also on my website, www.kathybacon.com. I have,
Awesome.
for all my guests, a little place where I talk about them, and then I give their contact information because I really want you to contact my guests if you need to. You contact me and tell me how cool they are. We'll contact them and tell them how cool they are because really, I mean, we all love to hear that we're making a difference somehow in people's lives, or we've inspired somebody by what we're doing. So I encourage you to contact Dani if you need to. She's she's so open to that, and she's look at her smiling now, for God's sake. I mean, everything's beautiful. So again, thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate it. And What's Your Story is not going away. We will continue to be here. We'll continue to connect you with amazing human beings. I mean, amazing human beings that are regular people, not a movie star, not a millionaire, but regular people like you and me that are making a difference in our world and creating wealth and goodness for everyone. So thank you. I mean, really, I'm so grateful
Thank
for
you for
for
having
that.
me.
Oh gosh, absolutely. So see you next time, next week on Tuesday. I'll see everyone, and I look forward to it. So goodbye, and think about what's your
Bye.
story.